Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to get into U.S. immigration questions and answers March 17th, 5 p.m. Pacific time for our regular Wednesday, 5 p.m. chat about U.S. immigration, going over all the wild and craziness that we have to deal with in this immigration world with you today. I'm an immigration attorney specializing in just U.S. immigration. So we're live on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on TikTok, all over the place, taking your questions. I'm going to go over some updates to have an immigration system. Not much. The Biden administration does some really good stuff. Other than that, not much of a change. But there's border stuff. I'm not going to go into all the stuff that's going on the border. There's a lot of attention to that. But with that, let's get it started. All right, everybody, I'm looking at multiple screens right here. Make sure I answer everyone's question as fast as possible. I like to be to the point, and I don't like to, spend too much time on something. I just want to get you the facts as much as possible. But this is general education kind of stuff. The first thing I want to get into is, importantly, the Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, part of the public charge system that President Trump tried to put in place, is gone. And the USCIS said they're not going to pursue that. Now, public charge is still there. That has never left. That's always been a thing. But what has happened is, like, for example, the Form I-864 is no longer an issue. And so it's still there, but the I-944 is not an issue. So just be prepared to deal with that kind of stuff as it pops up. Every day is different when you're dealing with immigration. You got to be aware of all the nuances. I had a consultation today with somebody who didn't know about, about I-864 being a requirement, the affidavit of support. So you gotta study up at the ebook, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, down the free ebook that goes over it all, and that'll be able to help you. But you just got to protect yourself. Make sure you make the best decision in these cases. Luckily, we don't have to deal with that I-944 at least anymore, which was a horrible form. We'll just have to deal with all the other horrible forms that are on the process. We have a question from Nihaj, says LPR status, any updates? That's not something I can answer. It's like saying, pizza, any updates? There's a million and one things that could be there. You got to be very specific to your situation, but the more specific we get, the less chance there is I can answer you here, because this is for general kind of questions that are a little more precise than what you asked. Jabber asks, my brother is Australian citizen. Can he apply for a green card here? Jabber, there's just not enough information to answer that. First of all, to apply for a green card, you have to have some sort of basis to get it. You win the diversity visa lottery, you have a close family member, you have work lined up, you're investing, you have asylum. There's all these different things. So first, you have to see if your brother is able to have a reason to get a green card. Let's say he does, you're a U.S. citizen, for example, and you want to apply for your brother. Well, two issues pop up. One is your brother is a case for a U.S. citizen applying for a brother. If you're a U.S. citizen, which I don't know, it takes 15, 20 years maybe, and it depends on what country your brother is born in, not necessarily the passport that they have. So that's one issue, is they can start the process, but you're asking, can he apply here? There's other issues there. One is it takes 15 years for them to be able to apply. They need to stay here in lawful status in some way until then. And secondly, for example, let's say they had waited 15, 20 years and the time has come for them to apply for a green card and they're in the United States. Australians have a thing called the visa waiver program. They could come to the United States without getting a full tourist visa. However, there's a restriction that in most cases, unless they're marrying a U.S. citizen, they're the parents of a U.S. citizen or minor children of a U.S. citizen, they're not able to file for adjustment of status, apply for a green card while they're here, which is what you're asking. So as you see, there's even more levels of complexity that get added to that. But these are why it's hard to answer these kind of questions. I'm just sitting down and talking with you. She says, is there an update on the asylum backlog? No updates, just the backlog still there. That's about it. Vinay asks, I'm on my H-1B. Am I eligible for new Citizenship Act? There is no new Citizenship Act. It's just talk. That's, there's every day there's new bills in Congress. So there's nothing really there, just clickbait. If you're reading this kind of stuff about Citizenship Act, until we get a final thing signed by President Biden, there's nothing that could help you in any of this. And plus, just you saying H-1B doesn't help me. I need to know 50 more details about your background. Marlene says, hi to you. Reddy asks, hi, I had my biometrics appointment yesterday. Do you know how long it's going to take to get the AD? Nope, there's no timelines. King Lace asks, father is a U.S. citizen. Son is in DACA status with legal entry to the U.S. Can the son do adjustment of status from the father's sponsorship with the U.S.? Well, it depends. Maybe not, probably not. But for you to be able to adjust status in the United States, you have to have not had, and you're an adult, not a minor. So if this DACA child is under 21, maybe, but or 18, maybe, but 21. But if they're over, we have to see whether that invalidated status or not, and whether they're 245I capable. So King Lace, it's just too complicated to think to be able to talk here. We need to get more details about the life history of the child and what they've done to be able to judge whether they can adjust status, apply for a green card from within the United States. Danielle asks, hi, I-485 form is expired on 10/31. Can I still send that form even if it expired? If you want to check, the immigration department has these forms and they have expiration dates on the forms you submit there. However, they don't always update the forms accordingly. What you need to always do is go to the USCIS.gov website for that specific form and check to see which form they're accepting. So if you go to the I-485 website, the form you're looking for, there's a part where it says additions or something like that, and it'll tell you if they're still accepting the expired version or not. Check that. That's the proper way to do that. King Moose asks, can we see the visa interview? I don't know what that means. Can we see the visa interview? What do you mean? When can you see the visa interview? That doesn't make any sense to me. Try to ask it again in a different way. Okay, so Vinny asked where I answered that. Zombie asks, can a person renew his work permit if he is no more in asylum case? I mean, what do you mean no more asylum case? Which case denied? Was it approved? Like, what's going on? I don't understand your question. Need more information. I-485, it says 5 biometrics walked in. They're closed. ISIM got approved, received no biometrics. If you got a biometrics notice, just go to it. Is it okay to attend as I-64 is approved? I don't know. Your questions aren't being precise, so I can't answer them. Just go and just go do what they tell you. I can't even tell you that because I don't know what situation in case I don't want you to go somewhere and get picked up. Schedule a private consultation. I'm having these kind of problems. Ahmed says, question, how to change misspelling of name on form I-130. You need to contact USCIS, mail them a letter saying there was a mistake and a typo. So you try to fix that and get that fixed. Aslan says, I'm a green card holder. My son is an F2B category. What chances? That question is, what do you mean what chances? You got to wait and then it happens. I don't know anything about your child to see what's going on. So it's not about chances here. IM says, I have one question. Can I submit my recommendation letters at the interview for the EB2 NIW? No, the recommendation letters are for the approval of the I-140. That's not decided at the interview for a national interest waiver case. You need to have all the letters and all you need in the initial filing I-140 or applying to if you get an RFE, but you can't just bring it to the adjustment interview. That's to look over and make sure you're not a criminal or something like that. Simba says the person got separated from his family. I don't know, Simbi. We got to schedule a consultation time to see what's going on with that case, with that person. Kautia says, do you know why they're going to open Juarez for appointments? They already have opened up Ciudad Juarez, the embassy in Mexico, for appointments, but they're really backed up. A colleague said they got an interview for a case that was originally scheduled to be interviewed in February 2020, so they're around a year back. You're welcome, Colonize. The Indian chief asks, if my fiance's passport number has changed since the filing of the I-129F, do I need to notify the embassy? Well, the I-129F is with USCIS. The embassy is the embassy. So I'm not sure where you are in the case. If it's with USCIS, you don't need to update them. If it's with the embassy, you need to fill out the form DS-160 properly or notify them. That'll probably be okay either way, but it'll make it more difficult for them to connect the case. So I need to see exactly where your case is at because the language used isn't exact enough. But if I give more exact information, I need to have a consultation with you. Mountain says, is it quicker to file for wife and my son? I am a green card holder. I'm not sure what you mean in reference to being a citizen or not. No, it's slower to file for wife and son, but there are reasons why you might want to do it as a green card holder. Down the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, it kind of goes into it. Go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download that. But I need to sit down and explain the situation, see how old your son is, and how a lot of things are to be able to answer that. The industry says, I filed the DS-160. This was the K-1 fiance visa question. At this point, about to make interview day. Then just take it there. I mean, once you submit form DS-160, it's also supposed to register with the U.S. Visa Info website in most countries. And there, they want to match up your passport number with your DS-160 number. So there's issues involved here, but overall, they'll adjust to what is needed. It's not like they'll deny your case for that. So try emailing the embassy, just letting them know beforehand. Because each embassy, especially for K-1 fiance visas, has their own procedures. So we got to see what they want. Raul asks, adjustment of status filed I-130 online and approved, but I-140 sent by paper, asking for link it to the I-130 in the U.S., informing. I'm not sure what you're talking about here, Raul. I need to see what you did exactly. I wouldn't have filed an I-130 online and an I-4 filed on paper. There's no point in doing something, in my opinion. But I got to see what you did exactly. I can't answer that here. Danielle says, thank you. You're welcome. Alotabi says, hey, man, what if American spouse never filed for taxes? It will be an issue for the I-130 for the green card. It won't be an issue for a marriage green card at the I-130 stage, the petition for alien relative, to show that you're really a couple. But later on for the affidavit of support, it will be a problem because you're supposed to file taxes if you're supposed to file taxes. And then also if you file taxes, you file married, filing jointly. So yeah, it could be a problem later on for the financial step at the affidavit of support step. So you really want to talk to the accountant and fix that up. If you got to pay taxes, you got to pay taxes. And that's the way it goes. Economy says appeal is sustained, meaning I-290. Probably, but I need to see what your documents say. But the appeal is sustained usually means they accepted your appeal. You're welcome, Indian Chief. Junior asks, can he travel with DACA? No, DACA is not meant for traveling. It's just meant to be in the U.S. without getting a work permit and stuff like that. Okay, so next is Ali Toibi. We answered that. King Moo says, when will embassy start their visa interview? Whenever they want to. Per Tom says, do you think the waiting for brother and sister, I want there to be reduced? No reason for that. King Moo says, constantly talk about the interview notice. You got to wait. That's not up to me. It's up to them whenever they want to schedule an interview for you. Okay, Facebook, you guys, can I work outside the United States when my case is under pending because the pandemic notification letter 18 months was over to unjust green card after 2 years marriage? Your question is not well written. It's just some confusion there, but I think you're saying you have an I-75 on removal of conditions pending and the 18-month extension is expired. Yeah, but you can work. That doesn't matter. Okay, Paulton asks, my U.S. citizen daughter filed for me. I have a pending adjustment status. I got an RFE for stuff I can answer. Question is, can I include my I-693, which I didn't include initially, and can I do the I-693 in the United States? So I-693 is a medical checkup that's required when you file with USCIS. It doesn't matter where you do it, so you can do it in any state. But I would wait them to send an RFE for it. I wouldn't just willy-nilly send it. I normally would wait for them to ask for something before I send something in. Alatoibi says, I heard that if I go to a state that has less immigration people, then the green card process is faster. Is that right? If you're going to move to a whole new state and live there just to get your green card those faster, there's not much going on in your life, buddy. So just you'll get the green card if you have a good case. Go for your life and do what's appropriate for you. Don't try to speed things up for 6 months. It's like these games don't make any sense to me. Okay, so let's see what else is here. Hey man to you too. Is work authorization still waived when you marry a U.S. citizen? There's no waiver of work authorization. I'm not sure what you mean by that. And what about the 90-day rule as regard this? If you start working within the first 9 days of admission, Stanley, you're talking about violating status, so I can't really sit here and talk with you in a public forum about this. We got to sit and talk in private. Raul asked 3 weeks that we sent the I-485 until today. We haven't received anything. How do you know USCIS got the papers? Well, one, you should have sent your mail with postal tracking. When you're going to contact and send stuff to the immigration department, you always want to send with tracking and have them sign that they got it. And that's how you know at least they have it. With regards to receipts, there's massive delays right now, and that's just the way it is. So it is what it is. You got to be patient and hope for the best. Adele asks, what is the average wait time for U.S. spouse fraud? There's no average wait times. Paulton Harris says, thank you. God bless you. God bless you too. Elizabeth asks, tell me about U.S. Embassy Johannesburg. We'll resume. Go ask the embassy. I don't keep track of every single visa category at every single embassy, all that kind of stuff. So you'll need to do that. Let me see. We got a thing going on. Yes, need to contact the mic if we guys in the stream. So connect your mic and add to stream. Erica, okay. Okay, so let's go to TikTok really quick and answer some questions there. Then we'll get back to all the other places. Harpy says, I applied for citizenship last year. Nothing happened. Even fingerprints not done yet. Okay, you got to wait. And just, a thing called the pandemic happened. And that's shut things down, slowed things down. And so we got to be patient. Okay, so Jane says, filing green card right now and filing taxes undocumented would affect the status. I can't give specific advice on that. I need to talk with you and review what happened. Yatmi says, hi to you too. Thanks for joining. Thank you everyone else for joining today. If you are thinking about doing a marriage green card case, please, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's a free guide, the best guide out there that breaks this stuff down for free, no cost. So download there, get an idea of what the process entails. I had a consultation with somebody this morning that just filed everything wrong. And I'm like, this book has everything that you need to know what you're supposed to file. Now, it's not, end all be all. You'll need to, do things properly and talk with a lawyer, but it'll give you an idea of what not to miss at least, because they're just mess the whole thing up. So be prepared for that. Just download that free ebook. It'll help you out a lot. All right. So another question we have: I applied last March for a green card, 2-year condition removal. I still haven't received it. Yep, that's just the way it goes. Kendon says, I'm on a green card EAD. How can I bring my wife here? I don't know what a green card EAD is. Either you have a green card or you have an EAD. EAD is employment authorization document. That's a work permit for people who don't have status in the United States. So the question doesn't make sense, Kendo. I can't answer that. The option says, I submitted the I-130 on January 2020. Still nothing. What should I do? I don't know. You might need to wait. You might have problems. I don't know. I don't know anything about you to be able to answer that question. You need to talk to the lawyer, see what's happening. You might be just need to wait longer. It might be they think you're a terrorist and they're not doing your case. They may have lost the case. You maybe need to contact your congressperson. You may need to contact the ombudsman. You may need to file a lawsuit. It could be many, many different things that you should do. Okay, so Reddy asks, can I travel while I'm in adjustment of status? If you want to travel internationally while your adjustment of status case is pending, you have to have advanced parole. If you leave while it's pending and you don't have like an H-1B or L-1 visa already in hand that's valid, then you risk you have your case denied. You're not supposed to travel without advanced parole. Now you could travel technically internally in the United States. They don't ask about immigration stuff there, but I would prefer not. Just stay still as much as possible. Stanley asks, you did a video about working without authorization that is forgiven if you are married to a U.S. citizen. Is this policy still valid? Yes, under INA 245C, if you're married to a U.S. citizen and adjusting status, getting a green card based on that in the United States, they don't hold unauthorized employment against you. However, if you got that job based on telling the employer that you're a U.S. citizen, that's not going to fly. It's a false claim of U.S. citizenship. Or maybe you use like some fraudulent, you stole someone else's social security number. Some states, some offices will hassle you on that. But just say you worked at a restaurant, got paid cash, it was all like that. Typically, based on the statute, it's all discretionary, but that's not an issue that worries me. And I always tell the government, if my adjustment clients are married to U.S. citizens, I always tell the government everything. I wouldn't file a case if it wasn't appropriate. But I tell them, say this person did work without authorization, but they're married to U.S. citizen. They didn't do false claim of citizenship. They didn't do any fraud, and that should be fine in vast majority of cases. Okay, so Kendall Hall says, I applied for my adjustment of status. They gave me an EAD and AP. That's work permission, trial permission. I started using my EAD, waiting for my green card. How can I bring my wife? Well, it depends on how you file for adjustment of status, but you need to file an IA-24, request that once your case is approved, they send it to the embassy so your wife can get on it too. That's a more complex problem. I would say you should consult an immigration in private, schedule a private consultation to go over that. Selena asks, my 18-month extension for my I-751 removal of conditions is going to expire soon in 15 days. What should I do? Nothing. Just wait. Now, if you need to travel or you're getting a new job and need authorization, you need to take a valid passport, schedule an info pass appointment, and ask that you get a green card stamp in your passport that permits you. Well, you still could work in the United States, but it'll give you proof that you have a green card status so you can travel and all that kind of stuff if you need it. John says, I moved to a new state a week ago. Can I apply for naturalization now or have to wait? So yeah, you can't file. So if you want to apply for naturalization, that's the process of getting U.S. citizenship after having a U.S. green card. If you move to a new state, you have to be living in that new state for at least 3 months before you will able to file for naturalization. So now that you moved last week, you're saying you're going to have to wait another, about 3 months until you can file for U.S. citizenship. So wait that whole time before you do that. Now, just a reminder, we're getting a lot of questions about how long things take, wait times. There's no answer to any of that. Patience is the only answer, unless it's been way outside regular processing time. So then you want to contact the congressperson, an ombudsman, or maybe sue them. But typically, how long is the work permit going to take? How long after biometrics do I get my green card? All this kind of, there's no answer to this kind of stuff. Only answer is you got to wait, and that's it. Anyone else tell you differently, they're just making stuff up. It's just a reality. Ekamit says, thank you. You're welcome. Raul says, thank you for the great work. God bless you. Thank you so much for the kind words. I hate to be strict on this stuff, but I just been doing this long enough to know USCIS, embassies, there are no timelines for this stuff. Every case is different. Every case is always different. And so that's that. So you have some new questions popping up. Let's see. User on TikTok. Okay, so we have some questions. User 397 says, can you tell me if I file for my mother, can my sibling underage get visa too? No. If you're a U.S. citizen, you can only file for the individual mother. No other people come within that petition. So what you usually do is either you file for your mom and your brother, or you file for your mother, and once your mother gets a green card, she files for the sibling. I don't know what the timeline is going to be because I need to know the exact ages and plan stuff out. So you really should contact the immigration attorney and privately talk about this kind of stuff. CE user asks, how much does it cost to file mandamus, and how much is your professional fee by suing? Do we get to recover money from USCIS as well, like in the courts? No, you very rarely would get money back, but I can't get into how much things cost here without knowing your case. Now, I wouldn't handle it myself. I would have one of my colleagues. I would recommend one of my colleagues or hand them off to them. But it's not a place to ask for fees and stuff like that. I can't get into that. Vanessa Waters asks, can students get back the status back, get their status back after the I-20 is terminated? There's a thing called reinstatement. So if there's some errors or there's some way that you try to fix it, it's very difficult. You have to work with your school. It may be possible to fix your I-20, but it's difficult. You have to have a good reason. Stanley asks, will they contact the company that gave you work illegally since one might be scared for snitching, LOL? They can. They ask for your employer's name and address. They can if they want to. Ali Toy says, you're a great man. Thanks for your help. Thank you, Ali Toy. Thank you so much for the kind words and everyone who's joined. We have a consistent, good sized group and questions flowing the whole time. So I want to appreciate it. And thank you for my assistant, Erica, who's helping moderate these questions. There's a lot coming in, and so it's kind of overwhelming at times. Thank you for jumping in there and helping answer these questions. A human being asks, can I bring my wife and kids from UK on ESTA and file for adjustment of status for them, currently pending I-24 for my wife and kids? If you filed an I-24, that probably means you just got your green card yourself. So no, one, you can't adjust status on an ESTA unless the U.S. citizen spouse or father of the minor kids is a U.S. citizen. So that wouldn't work. And secondly, it's fraud for you to come on an ESTA, which is for tourist purposes, with the intention of filing for a green card in the United States. So if you have your I-24 pending, just wait it out. It's going to take a while, but that's all you can do. And so you got to stick with that. Ahsan says, you help people and give useful information to everybody. God bless you. Sure. Thank you so much, Ahsan. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And everyone who's saying all this nice stuff, I thank you. I try to get it in this half an hour every week to try to answer these questions quickly, because I get the phone calls. I get 20 to 30 phone calls every day. And a lot of these questions, I'm like, okay, maybe if I have them on a broad forum. We also take your questions, turn them into short video clips, 1 to 2 minute clips, and put them on my channel, JQK Immigration Clips. So there's hundreds of questions over time that have accumulated. You can find all these answers to. They're there. You just got to do a search on YouTube. User 39 says, thank you. You're welcome. Abdul says, will you please repeat about if I can get a work permit if my wife is a U.S. citizen? If you file for adjustment of status and you file for employment authorization with that form I-765, eventually you will get a work permit. In most cases, it's discretionary, but usually comes. That's that. Now, first of all, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com, www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That'll answer a lot of your questions. But there's just a lot more we need to get into. It's just like, just because your wife's U.S. citizen doesn't mean you're going to get a work permit. You have to file for a green card. But can you file for a green card? Is your background good? Are your finances good? Is your relationship provable? There's just a lot going on there that we got to get into. Raul says, adjustment of status for marriage with U.S. citizen, I-130 approved, waiting for I-485 approval. In the meantime, will it be good? Open my LLC in U.S. and do not have issues. I think you're saying, is it okay for me to start an LLC? Raul, that goes into giving individual legal guidance. Can give it here. Usually, opening LLC is not a problem, especially married to U.S. citizen. But you're asking very specific stuff as to what you do, because you're not my client, and we don't have a relationship where I could follow up with you. There's some issues, or to know more about your background. I can't really get into that kind of specifics. Generally, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, and just generally opening up a company in the U.S. is not a problem, but it depends on how you open it up. I don't know how you're gonna do your paperwork. I have to review that, so I can't answer that. Shaw asks, I did my I-485 interview since 45 days ago, and I forgot to bring my medical exam. Well, you need to contact the immigration field office that you went to interview for and give your sealed medical exam. You don't want the case to be approved without it by accident. They may approve it. You want to have the medical exam on file. Try contacting them and figuring it out. It's gonna be hard. Every offices is more and more difficult to contact them. Maybe call the 1-800 number for USCIS and ask them to see what's going on. That may be the way to go, but yeah, be prepared. All right, we got a bunch more questions coming in soon. Let's see where we're at right now. Robin Hood says, my friend has criminal violations, police arrest 1 day, effective, is green card apply? Listen, your friend needs to talk with an attorney in private. If it's this kind of crazy situation, come to public forum and ask a general question like that. Just talk with a private attorney in private. That's an immigration lawyer to see what exactly happened, what the arrest was about, what the conviction record is, all this kind of stuff. Facebook user asks, so if my boyfriend is a refugee in Greece and his asylum is pending, can we still get a fiance visa? You can start the process, you can apply. Whether they'll give it or not, I don't know, because, do they have their birth certificate? Do they have any arrest history? I don't know enough about details about your case to be able to answer that question. I need to sit down and talk with both of you to see it. So when people ask me these questions, it may be possible, but it may or may not be. That's not much of an answer. So you got to really dive deep. I think you contacted my office before. I got to get to know you guys and see your documents. And if you're a refugee, you may not have birth certificates. That becomes a problem too in the process. We got to figure it all out. Trishana asks, if you're married to a green card holder and have children together, then divorce, can the divorced spouse file for himself to get a green card? Maybe. It depends. Was there violence? Was there? There could be some reasons. There's a thing called the Violence Against Women's Act. It doesn't just apply to women, but if there was abuse in your relationship, for example, you could potentially get a green card based on that. Trishana follows up, if you're married to her, we already answered that. Now, a reminder, everyone keeps asking about these timelines, how long this take. I don't know. Nobody knows. That's it. So you contact the embassy. If you have questions, they're not going to answer you. USCIS timelines, USCIS.gov are not reliable. Sometimes cases are fast. Sometimes they're longer. I got to see your individual case to see if it's worth suing on or complaining about. But in general, there are no timelines. We're in a pandemic. People aren't going to work. People have 6 feet distance. So less people could go to the office. People are working from home, so they don't care. They don't have to, do their job completely. Some do it better. Some do it worse. It's just too many factors. So it's not a realistic question to ask, how long is my case going to take when I don't know anything about your cases? So please avoid asking that question. Pretty one asks, waiting for interview at Letter Dubai, then yeah, good luck. Wait, hopefully it comes sooner rather than later. Now, I'm not happy it's taking this long at all. My cases are affecting so I get phone calls from my own clients, but what are you going to do? We don't have any control over this. Call your congressperson and say, hey, try to give some more funding to USCIS. Hey, try to take away these draconian, ridiculous rules that make it take longer. Have these people do their job. Some of these work permits are taking forever. I have a case. It was called an L2 intercompany transfer. It's been a whole year, and we still haven't got the work permit. That should have been approved within a week. We paid premium processing for the spouse. Why did they not approve it immediately? 1 year now, they're not working and losing all that money, lost their job, and all this kind of stuff. That's kind of insane. So, contact your congresspeople and complain. This isn't, justice. You're paying for this service. Now, I can't do anything about it here. And so just stop asking me about it. But if you want to do something, contact congresspeople, go in the streets and protest, do whatever you got to do to get these timelines under control, because they're way out of hand. Lawsuits are probably the best way to do it, but lawsuits are expensive. So you got to pay for that. Now we got 2 or 3 minutes left. If you have some last questions, please let me know. We'll get it in there because we're about to close it up in a second. Peter Butler says, do you work entirely remotely? Yeah, I work entirely remotely. I don't see any clients in person unless they have a USCIS interview at one of the field offices that I go to, like in Los Angeles, or maybe sometimes San Jose, maybe sometimes Las Vegas. But in general, everything's done by email, video. All the work I do is mostly mailing the government stuff. So remote work is all that's needed. Trishana Johnson says, thank you. Thank you as well. I know we're getting some questions in right now. We're about to wrap it up. Maybe you get 1 or 2 questions in if they're there. And then we'll call it a day, and we'll be back next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, just as we've been for last year, here to answer your general questions. Sanjay asks, can I extend the visitor visa? I got 3 months left for 6 months. You could always ask, may or may not get approved, but if you need more time, then file an extension. Just do the paperwork right. Kay asks, is I-944 still required for bringing U.S. citizenship parents? No, as we started at the beginning of the program, Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, an aspect of the public charge rule, is thankfully gone. So you don't need to submit that. You still need to submit Form I-864, Affidavit of Support, in most cases, unless you're one of a few exemptions and exceptions to that. But the Form I-944 is no longer required. And on that high note, I want to thank everybody who joined us today. We'll be back again next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. And check out the Marriage Immigration Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Download that. It's free. It's the best book out there. I'll tell you that much. Facebook user says, thank you for what you do. God bless you. Thank you as well. All right, everybody. Until next one, be safe. God bless you. Be safe. I'll hope to answer questions all next time. Bye-bye.